Hey Exoticals, it's your girl back with another Exotical rant. Long time no see. Let's get right into it, ladies. What am I talking about today? I'm going to be talking about conversations we keep having, especially in the Black community. And that includes us Exoticals. We keep having conversations about hypergamy, about colorism, about dating and marriage politics. Let's dive into those topics and let's explore why we keep having these same conversations without any resolutions. Let's get right into it, ladies. Number one, we keep having the hypergamy talk, the hypergamy conversation. Should men pay for everything? Do we want providers in our community? Do we want to be treated like ladies? It's the 50-50 scam. We keep having these same conversations. And the thing about it, ladies, and us exoticals included, we keep having these conversations because as a group, and like maybe us exoticals need to be that group to get together and say, hey, we require hypergamy in our community. We require men that are providers and protectors in our community. Maybe we need to get together and do that. Maybe we need to stop listening to toxic, usually Caucasian feminists. We may need to stop listening to them because they only are there to get us to do the grunt work, and they benefit and they stay in their hypergamous communities, but we somehow lose that hypergamy. We don't want providers. After we go on their feminist journeys with them, they get husbands and we get nothing. So maybe we should stop listening to those Caucasian feminists, the toxic ones that keep promoting us not to have husbands, not to require providers and protectors in our communities. Just an ideal. Does gender roles matter? A lot of times these toxic feminists will tell us gender roles don't matter, but when they go home, they do gender roles. They have a provider, protector, husband. They have a family structure in place, and they have things that they have to do, and things that they require their men to do. But again, when it translates into our communities of color, sometimes it just gets lost in translation because we're just listening to their talking points and we're not watching their actions. Their actions say a totally different thing. So we really have to watch the actions of people, toxic feminists included, and not just their words. Let's go. Number 4, the benefits of a provider, man or husband. This wraps back into hypergamy, protection, provision. We're not at the whims of these jobs. When we are practicing hypergamy, especially the correct way, we have provider men, whether they're our husbands, our boyfriends, our sugar daddies. They are provider men, and they play traditional roles in our lives as providers, protectors. They provide provision for us and stability. So we're not at the whims of these jobs. That's one benefit. Number 2, we have more flexibility with our schedule because, again, we have somebody that is the leader in our households, providing that structure, or at least a leader in part, again, against our finances, our stability in our housing. We have somebody looking out for us. So it's very easy to forget to be a woman and be a feminine woman when you have a provider husband or a boyfriend or a sugar daddy or whatever he is to you. It's very easy to be feminine because we have the structure in our households or in our proximity, if that makes sense. So, I mean, we keep having this hypergamy conversation. Should I go half and half? If you're going half and half with a guy, he is your roommate. Okay. Most of the times the guy is about a pay. He's basically a raise away from leaving you. If these guys ever get to the money they really desire, they will go get the women they desire. And since they don't have the women they desire, they think that you should work and, be their mule. So if you sign up to do that, men will treat you accordingly. And a lot of young women don't realize that. Like if you were the one, you would have what you want from this man, i.e. the ring, the marriage, the house, the car. you would have what you actually want if you were the woman he wanted. You are the woman he settled for because he cannot meet his financial and professional goals as a man. So he knows he can't require a woman that he really desires, the top-notch women. And as exoticals, if we stay fit, feminine, and friendly, we are automatically the top women that men desire. Black, white, or other, men desire us for our beauty, our femininity, and our exotic looks. So we are number one already if we just stay fit, feminine, and friendly. So get it, got it, good. We keep having these hypergamy conversations, especially in the Black community and in the exotical space or light-skinned Black person, mixed race, biracial person space, because we are listening to toxic feminists. That's why we keep having the hypergamy debate, especially amongst us young dating women, ages 18 to 35. We keep having these, actually, I want to say 18 to about 50. We keep having these hypergamy conversations because we never address it. Do most of us want providers? Yes. Do most of us want to go half with a grown-ass man? No. Do most of us want traditional gender roles? Yes. Do most of us want to benefit from a provider male? Yes. And if you're honest with yourself, especially if you're a feminine woman, you want all of these things. You don't want to pay half. You don't want to be seen as equals and have to do the grunt work of a man. You do want to have gender roles, traditional gender roles. Even if you don't look traditional, you want those traditional gender roles from a spouse, from a husband, because that provides provision, protection, and stability in your life. So let's not lie to ourselves and say, hey, I don't want the benefits of hypergamy. Hey, I want to be a feminist and do everything myself. We know we don't want that life. Come on, we don't want that struggle life. We don't want to have to pay for everything that we have. Let's be real about it. And I think that's why we keep having these conversations, especially in the dating and especially when dating and marriage. When people are thinking about those things, we keep having these hypergamy conversations among women because we're not being honest with ourselves. We want a man to pay the bills. We want a man to provide that protection, that stability, and those finances. Come on, ladies, let's be real. Cha-ching, cha-ching. We want that. So let's not lie to ourselves and get tied into a Ferris wheel of just saying the same things over and over, having the same conversations with our friends, family, and whoever about hypergamy. And when we want to practice it, but we think if we practice it and be honest with men, they will be scared. Quick story time. I was out here dating years ago. No, actually a couple years ago. Before I got married, I was out here dating. And I was like, oh, should I just be honest in what I want? And then I just was like, fuck it. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be blunt. I just started telling guys, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to pay any bills. And I want to provide a husband, a traditional husband. And we have gender roles. I started being honest, and men would literally be like, relieved. One guy was like, finally an honest woman, and he gave me a hug. I had just met this guy. It was actually like one of my roommates' dates, and we just started talking about, he was like, oh, are you single? And I was like, yeah, I'm dating, but I'm single. And he was like, what do you want? And I was like, I want a man that would make me a stay-at-home wife. And he just was like, thank you for finally an honest woman. And it just gave me relief when I was honest with men about what I really wanted. They were like, okay. Either they would be like, okay, I can provide this, or okay, I don't think I can measure up to you. And it would be a quick conversation. It wouldn't be any back and forth like that too much, because men that are dating, and they know what they can afford. They know if they can afford a exotical like me. They know if they can afford a beautiful woman like me. And they know if they can't really afford that, they're going to go try to find a woman that is like a discounted woman, like at Ross. You know, like they're going to look for those Ross girls, those Walmart girls. You know the typical woman that works at Walmart. They're going to find one of them because they know they'll give them half of their little Walmart check. A woman like me, I'm not giving you shit. And I would tell men that. I'm not giving you shit. Don't expect anything from me besides being with me and being in a healthy, happy relationship. But besides that, I'm not helping you with your finances or whatever else your mother didn't do or your daddy didn't do. I cannot help you with. And I was very direct. And I feel like as young women sometimes, or even older, even like, in your 30s or in your late 20s or 30s, a lot of women, y'all are scared to tell men what y'all really want. I was not scared to tell men what I really wanted because I'm a blunt person. I'm very direct, and I got tired of playing games. Like, either you got it or you don't. I'm really direct like that. So I would be honest with myself and what I really wanted, because I realized if I wasn't honest with myself and my expectations of a partner, that I would end up in a situation that I did not want to be in. I would date guys that would eventually start trying to ask me to pay for stuff that I was unwilling to pay for. I would have guys that are trying to put me to work when I'm trying to be put to rest. Does that make sense? I want to be in a rest mode. I want to be in my feminine mode. And I don't want to be out here working these jobs, dealing with ugly women that are on the internet, that are constantly talking junk. They're at those jobs. They're going to try to make your life a living hell because they're jealous of how beautiful you are. And they're jealous that you're light skinned. They're jealous that your hair is nice. They're jealous that it's long. They're jealous of whatever you have that people or men admire, they're jealous of. And I knew I didn't want to keep dealing with those type of women working these jobs. Got it, get it, good. Ladies, for the hypergamy conversation to be ended in your life, you have to, number one, be honest with yourself about what you really want from a man. Number two, stick to those standards regardless of what people say. Number three, this is understood among exoticals. Move in silence. You don't have to tell or announce everything to everybody. Let's go to number two. Another conversation we keep having. Colorism. OMG. Colorism. This is like, in the Black community, I feel like if colorism was reversed and light skin was no longer desired, they would be okay with it, especially the women that can keep complaining online. They will be okay with colorism as long as it benefits them. So since it does not benefit dark-skinned Black women, they are upset about colorism. But if it was reversed, they will be okay with it. Based on conversations I've heard and listened to online, especially in the YouTube space, they will be okay with it. They just want to benefit from whatever isms is out there. They want to benefit from it. Let's get into it. Light skin privilege. For some people think being light skinned is a privilege. They think that you all of a sudden come equipped with all these magical powers, all this prestige and money. While you may be able to attain that if you are smart, wise, and well-equipped, you can obtain wealth and notoriety. Everybody is not going to be a Beyonce, okay? Everybody's not going to be a Shakira. Everybody's not going to be a Christina Milian. It's normal, everyday exoticals that bear the brunt of this light-skin privilege in normal spaces that dark-skinned women just don't understand. They think that all of a sudden, because you're born lighter, you have all these privileges. All you have is more men trying to get in your pants, point blank, period. Okay, that's all you have. Based on the color hierarchy, you know what I'm trying to say, ladies, that was established by white supremacy. That's all you have is more men trying to prey on you. And light skin privilege, okay. If somebody is truly practicing white supremacy and they are a white person, they do not care that you are lighter. The mere fact that you have Black ancestry, blood, a Black parent, they automatically consider you to be less than them. So why in certain spaces may they tolerate? Because they will never validate or appreciate you, but they may tolerate you in certain spaces because you are lighter. Yeah, that is true. Being light skinned is only a privilege if you have money, i.e. you're born into money. Your daddy has money and you're on a certain level of society due to economics, and then the light skin will help. But if you are poor and you're light skin, usually you are a target for bullies, for people that want to perpetuate violence, sexual violence against you. If you're in the hood and you're a light skinned woman, that is not a privilege. You are fucking a target. So ladies, let's stop having these light skin privilege conversations, especially with dark skinned women that will never understand our plight in life anyway. They want to be at the bottom, like E. Kane said, or whatever her name is, said on TikTok. You're at the bottom, right? Okay, you said that. So like, some women want to be at the bottom. They want to feel like they're at the bottom due to their skin color, instead of being like, I'm a human, I'm a beautiful woman, and I can elevate. They want to use their dark skin to be overweight, unfriendly, uncooperative, and then blame light-skinned women for all of their problems, when really they just need a gym membership, some makeup, and some nice clothes. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Comparison Olympics. A lot of these colorism channels or people online want to always talk about comparison, oppression Olympics. They want to talk about how bad they got it by just being black, instead of working on themselves mentally, physically, emotionally. They want to play the oppression Olympics. Don't play it with them. Don't let them like make you feel bad about who you are, because they feel bad about who they are. A lot of these people online that keep talking about colorism and talking about how they're on the bottom and they have it worse than everybody, they need a therapist. They don't need a platform, but they need a therapist. And a lot of times, a lot of people need mental health advocacy. They need that in their lives really bad. That's why they keep having these same colorism conversation. Always feeling like you're on the bottom of society, blaming light-skinned women for all of your problems, feeling like if the light-skinned woman is just not present, you would somehow do better in dating, marriage, and society platforms. And just socializing, you would do better if the light skin or the mixed race or biracial girl was just not there, especially in black spaces. You would fare well, when really the men would be just dealing with you because there's nobody else around, because their options are limited. But so when they open their options up, i.e. by making more money, they would just get rid of you anyway. So stop always trying to blame light-skinned, mixed, and biracial women for all of your problems. A lot of times your problems can be eradicated by just a good gym membership, mental health therapy, and just really working on your makeup and well-being. A lot of these women that keep talking about colorism and how they're on the bottom and doing the oppression Olympics are very male identified. And this is what a lot of the exotical channels have been talking about. Exoticals United, Exotical Sauce, blah, blah, blah. All of us being male identified. When you're male identified, you do things just for the male gaze. You do things just for male attention, whether good or bad. So you'll be online shaking that ass. You'll be online telling them how much you welcome going 50-50. You'll be online making a fool of yourself because you just want the male gaze. Take your and literally you wouldn't even have a lot of times these dark-skinned black women would not have a problem with light-skinned black women and mixed race black women and biracial black women if they just were not male identified, because they would have nobody to hate on, because they would see each other and they would see us and everybody as their sisters. But because they're so male identified, they have to hate on you because they feel like men will naturally give you more attention, and the attention is what they're craving. So how can we fix this? Number one, if you're a black woman of any shade, stop trying to get the male gaze and be your authentic self. What does that look like? it is natural for us women to naturally want male attention. It is natural for us women to naturally want companionship. That is okay. But when you try to make your whole life about men and getting male attention, you will always fail because you're not being your authentic self. If you like doing yoga, go to yoga class. Build yourself up eternally. Eat healthy. Find ways to relieve stress naturally without dealing with drugs and narcotics and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to get male approval for everything in your life. And a lot of this, and I hate to say this, a lot of this being very centered on men, it goes back into childhood. A lot of these women don't have dads or didn't have emotionally available dads. So they are very focused on male attention. Whether it's negative or positive, they're focused on getting it because they've never had it. And a positive family structure wise scenario, they've never had that male attention. So they'll do anything to get romantic male attention, thinking that it will satisfy them, and it will not. You really have to, if you are a young girl or even an older lady and you've never you had a bad upbringing, or your dad was absent, if you've never been to therapy and worked that out, you have daddy issues, and you need to deal with that before you get into a romantic relationship with a man. You need to deal with those issues that you have, because they will keep resurfacing up in your romantic relationships, and they will give you bad results. So being male identified, it just goes downhill. When I've seen women be male identified, when they're really young, and even after they age, they usually age really hard, no matter what color they are or culture they're from, because they are so obsessed with men approving everything, being just getting that attention. So they'll get it negative, positive. They don't care where it comes from. They're trying to get it. And that usually translates into a lot of bad romantic relationships, a lot of one night stands, a lot of casual sex with men that don't want anything from them besides their body and to use them as a tool. And they get used up really fast. So ladies, how can we stop having this colorism conversation? Number one, validate yourself. Stop looking for approval from men or anybody and fill yourself up. Read books, Eat, Pray, Love. I actually love that movie. That was a really good movie for women to see. Eat, Pray, Love. Build yourself up as a woman. Be happy with who you are. Build your self-confidence and validation up. Stop looking for the outside source to fill you up and become the source that fills you up. Okay? And you can get that with spirituality, whether religion, whatever you're doing. Be your source of happiness, of joy, of positivity. Don't let somebody else have to give that to you. Seek that for yourself. And that'll stop a lot of these colorism conversations, and blaming other women, black, white, or other, for taking your man. Like, nobody can take anything that God has given you. Nobody can take anything that was truly yours. Nobody can take that away from you. And I don't think a lot of dark-skinned black women really understand that. If that guy was really for you, no woman could take him away. If he was really who was placed in your life to uplift you, to heal, to really just be that protection over you, no woman could take that away from you, no matter how good she looked. Okay? Number 3. Let's stop having these conversations because they go nowhere. What's the solution? The solution is being happy with who you are, being happy with whatever you have. If you want to improve it by cosmetic surgery or whatever, do that. But don't hate on other women. All it does is make you look ugly on the outside and the inside. That's all it does. And for us to stop having these conversations that go nowhere, our resolution has to be internal. Get it, got it, good. Let's go to number 3. Why do we keep having these conversations about dating and marriage politics in the Black community, in the exotical space as well? Why do we keep having these conversations? Why do we keep having conversations of why can't I find a husband? Where are all the good men? How do I meet a provider? Why is my dating experience sucking? Why do we keep having these conversations, ladies? Let's get right into it. A lot of times as women of color, as Black women, mixed and non-mixed Black women, we keep having these conversations because, let's go back to the first point I mentioned earlier in the video, hypergamy. We refuse to accept traditional gender roles, and it's because like we are keep being fed this toxic femininity that everybody's equal, anybody can do anything. It's certain things as a woman, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not want to do. At work, I don't want to do it. At home, I don't want to do it. And I don't even want to be asked to do certain things. Okay. So in dating and marriage politics, we keep having these same conversations. And where do I find a good husband? A lot of times, just in general, as Black women, mixed Black women, biracial Black women, we keep having these conversations because our mothers don't teach us hypergamy. Our mothers and other women around us in our community don't teach us about dating, about finding a suitable partner for long-term dating or marriage or companionship. We don't have these tough conversations in our communities. We have conversations about love. If you've ever been married, if you've ever been in a long-term relationship, if you've ever just dealt with somebody for more than a year, you know love does not sustain a long-term marriage or relationship. That is just a piece of the pie. An important piece of the pie, but just love does not sustain that. Finances sustain that. Emotional availability sustains that. Having a man that is a leader sustains that. Having certain things in your life in place sustains that. It's a lot of groundwork individually. When two people come together that they have to have in place. And we don't talk about that in the Black community, mixed race, Black, biracial. We don't really dive into those subjects like that with our young women and tell them like, hey, it's a lot that goes into finding a husband and dating a good candidate. You really have to look for, number one, does he have his finances together? Number two, does he have his character together? Because finances without character is dead. Somebody that has a lot of money, we've seen this play out on social media, on TV, dealing with celebrities. A man will have a lot of money, but lack a lot of character. We've seen this play out with like celebrities like, what's his name? That football player. Somebody leave that football player in the comments. Cam Newton, I think. He has so many baby mamas. It's just so many celebrities. Nick Cannon. Even though I like Nick Cannon, he has way too many baby mamas. I think he has like 12 kids by 7 different women. He's creating a lot of different households that are going to have absent fathers. Even though he's paying the finances, he got the finance part. But the character part and the traditional gender roles part, he does not have on down packed. And that's what I'm talking about, ladies. When we're talking about dating and marriage in the Black space, in the exotical space, you have to find a man that has his finances together, number one. That shows he's responsible, but also has his character together. When somebody has their character together, there's just certain things they will and will not do to anybody they deal with. And you want somebody like that, that has their character together. And number three, they have their kindness together. When somebody has a kind heart, especially a man, he realizes all the things women have to go through. So he's not going to put additional stress on you because he already realized the plight of a woman of color, the plight of a Black woman, the plight of a mixed race woman, the plight of a biracial woman within itself is hard enough. And he's not going to make your life that much harder by being with him. Does that make sense? Get it? Got it? Good. But ladies, it comes with a lot of things. Working with somebody in a partnership, in dating and marriage, especially, a lot of us are seeking marriage. If we're not already married, we're seeking marriage. And to find a partner that is really for you, you got to have that character together. He has to have his finances together, and he has to be a truly kind person, because long-term relationships, i.e. marriages, you want somebody, as a woman, you're going to go through a lot of changes. Okay. You want somebody that is kind to you. I can tell you from experience, I've dated a man that had finances, but he had some character, but he wasn't very kind. And that relationship did not work, because it's things that you're going to go through as a woman, and you need somebody there that, even if he doesn't understand, who'll hold your hand through it. And if you don't have a partner like that, it's just not going to work. And that's why we keep, in the Black community, in the mixed race space, in the biracial Black women space, we keep having these conversations about dating and marriages, because we don't look at the totality of what we want in a partner. We just keep picking one or two things and thinking that'll work out. And then when we get into the relationship, we get into the marriage, it just does not work, because this person is leaning on you too much, and you're trying to look for this person to be a leader, and he's just not that. He is just not a leader. He's not a provider. He's not a protector. He doesn't have himself together to even be in a relationship. But because you thought if you loved him enough, that will work, and it just doesn't work long term. Love does not sustain a relationship. Understanding wisdom and thoughtfulness can retain a long-term relationship. You have to have some type of understanding of that person, some type of empathy for that person. You need to have the understanding with them. But you also need to have wisdom, like both of you. But especially in your husband, he needs to have wisdom of stuff that just core value wisdom. He needs to have familiar family wisdom. Like how did his family structure, he grew up. How do you keep a household going? He has to, a lot of times when a guy is raised by, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to only date guys that come from 2-parent households, because I found that guys that came from single mothers, they were very 50-50. They thought women, oh, my mom did everything. Why don't you want to do everything? My mom worked hard. Why can't you work hard? And you're like, hold up. I don't want to be struggling like your mom, so I definitely shouldn't date you. I want to have a leader. I want to have a provider, a protector. And if somebody's never seen that, a lot of times if certain men have never seen that, they don't understand it. They don't understand why they need to come home with a check every Friday. They don't understand why they need to be a providing husband. They don't understand why they need to make sure you have the basics, a clean house. You need to have a clean, safe house to stay in. You need to have healthy groceries. You need to have a reliable transportation, and he needs to provide that. They don't understand why they need to provide that structure for you. All they understand is we're both humans. Why can't you do some? I do some. They are more so because that's what they grew up in. So, ladies, we keep having these conversations about dating and marriage politics in the Black community, in the exotical space, in the biracial and mixed women space, because a lot of times we are not being honest with ourselves. How do I meet a provider? A lot of women don't even know how to meet a good man, because they are in disenfranchised neighborhoods. They don't see structure. They don't see a positive male presence. So they kind of reject male. They become toxic feminists and reject male presence or dominance. And it's hard. As a woman, I've lived in really good neighborhoods, and I've lived in really not so good neighborhoods. But one thing that I noticed about the good neighborhoods I did live in, I noticed a positive male presence. I noticed men going out of their way to be kind to me. I noticed men going out of their way to provide for me. Even if we were just casually dating, they would go out of their way to make sure I was good. Like they would check in with me weekly, like, hey, can I bring you some groceries? Hey, can I take you out to dinner? Hey, what do you need from me this week? I'm just checking in with you to see if you need anything. I noticed the men were extra attentive to my needs. I noticed when I went out in public, the men were extra respectful. If they did approach me, to talk to me, they approached me in a very respectful manner where I was actually receptive to them. They were asking what they can do for me and not trying to take things away from me. And when I lived in not so good neighborhoods, I noticed the men were more predator like. They were trying to take my beauty, my youth, my sex away from me, but not add any value or not compensate me to maintain myself. But they were just trying to take my beauty away, trying to work me like a dog, take my sex away, but trying to like make me have a lot of sex with them, but not providing anything for me, like safety, protection, provision. But they did want to just keep taking from me. And then when they did approach me, I was very turned off by the way they would approach me. And I had sometimes when I was in disenfranchised neighborhoods, men approached me that were nice. They could tell I was classy and they would approach me accordingly. Then I had some that didn't. Like I've had men when I was in disenfranchised neighborhoods, because I used to work in disenfranchised neighborhoods, they would approach me and be like, hey, classy lady. Like they would be like, I can tell you're not from around here. It would be funny, but they could tell the difference and some people would actually ask me, I can tell you have a dad. It would be kind of hilarious how certain people would approach me. Because again, the way I carry myself is just of class, of ladylikeness. So, it just depends. But why do we keep having these conversations, ladies? Because we're not getting what we really need. Okay? As young women that's dating and seeking marriage, especially from 18 to about 45, we're seeking that commitment from a man because we're in our childbearing years. We want to have kids. We want to have that family structure. And one thing that we are not doing is telling our younger girls what to require from a man. You have to tell your young girls what to require because naturally young girls are just young and naive and just don't know. They have to I require you to take me out on dates to get to know me. I require you to call me and keep your word to me. I require you to have character. So when you tell me you're going to do something, I don't have to wonder if you're going to do it or if you're not going to do it. I require, if I'm with you, to feel safe. So ladies, we have to teach our daughters. We have to teach our daughters this. We have to teach other young women that don't know in our community this as exoticals. But why do we keep having these conversations? Number one, because a lot of times, especially in the Black empowerment space, there is no resolution. There are just a lot of complaints. We don't actually get resolutions from each other. We just keep talking about the problems. But one thing about my channel and exotical rants, I'm gonna tell you something about me. I only deal with resolutions and solutions. I only deal with that because that provides results. I don't talk about what I can get. I go out and get it and show you. So ladies, be about business, be about actions. Get yourself ready, emotionally, mentally, and physically for the dating and marriage politics. Get yourself ready. It is much easier when you're healthy, happy, and you're in a place of peace to find another partner that's matching that energy. And be about business. If it's not about business, you're not about it. Stop playing games with people. Stop dating men that you know you do not want to be your husband. Stop dating them. Stop giving them anything. Stop giving them your sex, your time, and your energy. Stop it. That's one way. And where do you meet these men? at business seminars, business, like they do so many business orientations from real estate to lawyers to doctors. Go to those events and meet men. You will be surprised if you get dressed up and go to those events, how many eligible bachelors you'll meet. If you go to that upscale bar in your midtown area, you'll meet so many men. You'll meet so many successful men. Just put yourself in those affluent areas and do your grocery shopping. Go to events, and think outside the box. I know I had to tell some young girls, they were like, I can't find any good men. And they were like 19. I'm like, girl, you're so young. What the hell are you talking about? You can't find any good men. Go to a Willow Smith concert. Go somewhere. You don't have to just always be doing things that are considered Black activities, and that will set you apart. Go somewhere. Go to a rock concert. Like, go do something different, and you'll meet different type of people in different areas. Like, put yourself out there in a positive way, in a safe way, and you'll definitely meet the man you're looking for. Get off all of these apps. Especially if and I'll put some apps that I think that are okay right now in the description box. If you ladies tell me so in the comments, I'll put some in the description box. But ladies, we keep having these same conversations. We got to get it together. We got to provide solutions and resolutions. So ladies, if you're thinking the same thing I'm on, resolutions and solutions, put it in the comment below and let me know how you feel, and let's get a conversation started. But anyway, Exoticals, have a great day. Bye.